We are live. Welcome, welcome. Hi, everyone. This is Taylor Thompson, and we are here live in the She Network where we are sharing her excellence. And first thing is that I have to apologize for today because as technology is where you can live with it, but you really can't. You can't live without it. Like my computer crashed, and I've been literally working on this for the last 4 hours. So we are now here. We're live. So thank you so much. I have my special guest here, Miss Michelle Cunningham. You guys give her a big shout out here. Everybody was expecting her to be on today at 12, and I messed up the time. It's just been one little mess up. So thank you so much, Michelle, for being patient with me today and working us into your schedule. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. It's such an honor to be here, Taylor. Thanks for having me.
So we're so excited. So I have to tell the ladies like where I connected with you and how we connected, because I've really kind of been watching you from afar. You know, isn't that how it always works? We see somebody, we see them on social media, and we watch how they are. And I really connected with you and your ads and how you related to your audience. And it was just me reaching out to you and saying, hey, you know, would you be open to come in and share with the ladies? And you've been so gracious to take out your time to do so. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. It was such an honor to hear from you. So I was excited because I've seen your video. So I was like, wait, this is the lady I know. So I saw you too. So that was kind of fun.
Well, and it's such a small world, right? I mean,
yeah.
like whenever, you know, you probably didn't connect necessarily the name to the face, and then you saw the face and you're like, oh, wait, I know her. Like,
yeah. So funny.
So we just want to welcome you today, and let's tell these ladies your background. And I really was very fascinated to hear your story and hear where you came from. And you know, like so many entrepreneurs, you know, we all started in this journey, and it's so fascinating to hear those stories. So, you know, tell us how you got started so many years ago.
Yeah. So you know, I always like to share how I grew up because I think that's a huge part of my story. But my mom was a single mom. So my parents divorced when I was 6 years old, and my mom raised me and my older brother, who was 8, I was 6, and my younger brother was 3. And she had to figure it out. She had no job. And so she opened a daycare in our home. And growing up, we just didn't have enough money. Like I knew that as a 6-year-old, I knew what it was like to not have enough. I knew that sometimes we didn't have enough money for food. So we would head to the church and get food. Or at Christmas time, we would get gifts from people in our community, not every year, but on the years where like our furnace broke and we like didn't have money. And so I come from extremely humble beginnings, and I'm thankful for that because I believe it made me the person that I am today. As a 6-year-old, I just knew when we were driving home from the church, picking up our food, that I didn't want my kids to have to worry about money. Like I knew that I wanted to have money because I knew that when you had money, you had choices. And I watched my friends who parents could buy them anything. And when I say anything, it was like their parents could afford Pantene shampoo. And I was like, that would be so awesome if my mom could buy me Pantene shampoo, because we couldn't afford that. I grew up on White Rain and VO5, and my other friend, you'd go to her house and she had fresh apples all the time, and we didn't because apples are expensive, and we had Little Debbie snacks. And so I really I wanted to have money to kind of fit in, like just to be like a normal, everyone else who'd get a new backpack on the first day of school and new cleats for soccer, and not have to worry about it. And so for me, the only solution and the only way to get money was to work hard. And so when I was 13, I started babysitting and mowing lawns and started my own lawn mowing business. And then went on to work at Dunkin' Donuts while waiting tables and babysitting nonstop. And so I remember being the captain of my track team, and I ended up like not getting an award that year because I would leave track early because I was always going to work. Like I was like, I'm sorry, I got to go. Like I don't have time for this because I need to go make money for my family. And so work has always just been who I am. And lucky for me is my mom, we were so poor. I got a great ride. I had great grades, but I got a great ride to school. So I ended up paying my way through college while working at Applebee's full time. And when I graduated from college, my buddy said it's impossible to get into pharmaceutical sales, but it's a very lucrative job. And I bet you could never get into it. And that is why I decided to go into pharmaceutical sales, because he said I wouldn't be able to get into it. And so I studied the profession and landed my dream job in pharmaceutical sales, and realized that once I was in it, I was like, is this life? Like,
Yeah.
am I going to really call on doctor's offices for the rest of my life? Like, this is mundane and boring. And like, no. And it was at that time, my coworker's wife, Sam was my coworker, and his wife was Rashada. And Rashada said, hey, do you want to go to this network marketing thing with me? And I was like, sure. So I go, and there's ladies in the room.
Stop you right now. Like, you must be from New York, and you talk so fast. Like, oh my God.
I do.
You talk so fast, but I want to back up just a little bit, because you tapped into something that I really want to, spend a little time on. And that's this right here, is the work ethic. I mean, with everything that you're saying, there's probably a lot of women here that can identify with the work background. I mean, whenever you come from humble beginnings and you had to work for everything that you have, I think it really creates a value system and a work ethic that you equate, okay, if I work hard, there's a payoff. And, I really think that in this day and time, I don't know that that's so prevalent today, that, that our society as a whole. I mean, we try to, and I know I'm guilty of this, with my own kids, because that's the way I was raised, where I was working. I mean, I lied to get my first job because I wasn't old enough, but, mowing lawns, and my first job being rolling burritos at Taco Villa, right? And I lied to get that job. And, but I understood that work ethic thing. And I've now, with my own kids, you think differently, because you want to give them the things that you didn't have. But then you go, wow, okay, did I do that to their detriment? Am I doing that to their detriment? Because look what it did for me. I'm a chaser. I'm focused. I know what I want. I know how to get there. And so so before we get into this, I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, as far as the work ethic, tell me about that.
I totally agree. And I can slow down my pace too. I'm from Connecticut, and when I get excited, I start talking really, really fast, so I can slow down. So no, I do agree. I have 2 kids now, and I do worry that, gosh, we have someone that does our lawn, and we have a house cleaner that comes, and I'm on the complete other side of that now. And I'm like, they have no idea. This is incredible that our beds are made for us. And, it's completely different. So I do have that fear, especially with raising kids. But there is something to be said for, like, just, I even teach them that whatever they want, they have to work really hard for. So my son wants to learn how to edit videos and start his own YouTube. I'm like, okay, then you're going to have to do this and do that. And so you try to teach, but yes, it's that same fear that we don't want to give them too much, right? But when you have a lot, you're like, gosh, it's like, I didn't have that. Here, kids, you want that nice thing? Okay. So I 100% hear that. Yeah.
So you have this, so you have your friends, your friend invited you to a network marketing meeting. So this is always a good first experience. I mean, like, this one.
Crazy. So 23 years old, I'm at the Holiday Inn in West Springfield, Massachusetts. I walk in, there's a lady in the room claiming to make 6 figures. There's another one that's a millionaire. There's another one that's driving a free car, and everyone in the room is hugging and happy. And I'm like, is this real life? Like, is this a show they put on because I was coming? Or is this like really what this is like? And I was a little skeptical. I went home and I called my mom and told her about what I saw, that you could make money working from home. And she goes, oh, honey, no. That is for very annoying people. That is a little bit of a scam. This is not something you want to get involved in. And so that was my mother's advice. So I was 23 and I was like, but my mom, like, I love my mom. She is my best friend. My mom loves to sit in a cubicle. Like, she loves it. I do not. Like, I feel trapped. Even in this job where I work from home and travel to doctor's offices, I still felt trapped. And I will say to anybody that feels that trapped feeling, you are an entrepreneur stuck in a 9-to-5 job. You are an entrepreneur ready to break free. And I didn't know that, but I remember being like, no, but I'm going to try this. And so a week later, I signed up. I don't even think I told my mom because I was nervous. I signed up, invested in a whole store of products. I mean, I invested some money and I was like, I'm going to make this work. And that was,
How much was your investment?
I invested $3,000 at
That's a
23 years old.
that's a big deal. I mean, because in this day and time, you don't hear those kind of investments. I mean, it's kind of like that's kind of taboo in this world. But most of the, I mean, starting when you, and I can identify with this because that's about, I mean, I started with 4,000 and people don't understand that. So that's why I wanted to talk about that, because at 23 years old, that's a lot of money, and that required a lot of desire and a lot of commitment.
Yep.
I mean,
yeah, I just said in my head, if I'm going to go big, I'm going to go big or go home, right? That was always kind of who I was. So I was like, all right, well, so lady said I can send it back if it doesn't work. I've got a year. So I'm like, great, I'll send it back in a year when it doesn't work. And that was kind of, I ordered it and we're going to make this work, right? So yeah, so the stuff came in, and this was before there was text message. And so the lady I joined with, like, I appear to be very confident, right? And now I am much more confident. But at 23, I appeared confident. But I, again, came from humble beginnings, incredibly shy, always felt less than everyone else around me. And I'm an introvert, right? So she's like, honey, you're going to build your business by walking up to strangers in parking lots. And I'm like, that's horrifying. I don't say this. I'm like, oh, okay, great. And I'm envisioning me walking up to strangers. She's like, or we could go to the mall and meet women, just start talking to them. I'm like, oh, it's like my worst nightmare. Like, literally worst nightmare. So I left that meeting with my $3,000 of stuff, and I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to talk to people. In that first year, I think I talked to 2 people.
Your first year?
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Uh-huh.
Oh my God. Oh
Like, I can't believe we had Michelle come. That's the first year. Wait till you hear the next 6 years, Taylor. So yeah, my first year I talked to 2 people. Both of them ignored me when I tried to call them, and my leader told me to call them 7 times. So I did, and nothing happened. So I quit. And that was year 1.
Okay, wait. Okay. Like, I'm really loving this, because and it just shows the difference in personality, and like the expectation that we put on people whenever we bring them into the network, their company, and we assume that they're going to do it like us, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, because it's funny you said go to a parking lot and talk to people. Well, when my upline told me that, like, I was like, okay, and I did, because I was so desperate, like and to think about the difference in personalities, it's so profound. But so this is I love this story. So first 2 people, first year, mm-hmm. and they wouldn't return your phone call.
0. So I quit the whole year. Second year, I called up my recruiter, Rashada. I said, all right, I want to get this going. I would go to a meeting and then I would quit. I'd go to a meeting, then I would quit. I was like, I do want to get this going. She's like, let's go to the mall. We'll go talk to people. I'm like, okay. So we get a notebook and we're finding people wearing red, and we'd go up to the red person. I'd say, hi, oh gosh, we're having a scavenger hunt. You're wearing red. Okay. Hey, I'm with this company, and we're looking to book parties. And literally, I kid you not, I met a lady in the mall who said, you work for that company? I love that company. I've been looking for someone to host a party. Can I please? I would love to. And I was like, oh, sure. So I set a date with her, and she goes, okay, just give me a call, and I'll get everybody invited. I'm like, perfect. And I get home and I'm too nervous to call her. So I don't call her. And I called her the day before the party. Called her the day before, and she goes, what? How are you calling me the day before? I didn't invite anyone. I didn't hear from you. I didn't think, like this. Come on. That was like a joke. And I was completely deflated. And I was like, I messed up. I was so nervous to call her. I couldn't do it. So that was my second year in network marketing.
Wow.
My third year, I called up my director, my leader, and I went and met her at her house. I sat around her kitchen table, and she's like, girl, you can do this. Like, you have what it takes. All you got to do is like go call people and like just make it happen. And I was like, okay, I'm fired up. And so I went home, and that whole year I stared at my phone. So that's what I did in my third year of network marketing. My fourth year, and it's literally comical. I share this on stages, and people are like, who invited her to speak?
I love this. I hope you guys are taking notes here, because it's such a fabulous story. If you guys are just joining us, I mean, this story is amazing. We've got Michelle Cunningham here telling her journey of her first years in being in the business. And so we're in our third year. We
Third year.
haven't signed anybody up, haven't made any
Nope.
sales.
No, I might have, maybe someone just randomly ordered from a catalog I passed out. Like maybe that. But, so but you have a 3-year shelf life on your products. So now you know what's going on. I got $3,000 of dead inventory. Okay, but I am still committed. My 4th year, I was like, okay, I just need some new ideas. I'm gonna go online and I'm going to buy a laminator and a binder, and I'm gonna print every idea. I printed all the Black Friday ideas, Christmas ideas, holiday ideas, Valentine's Days, any holiday, anything. I printed every idea. And that is what I did my entire 4th year. I just printed ideas and did absolutely nothing. And all the while, my head is like, I am working my business. Okay. So you know where this is going. Like, yeah, I'm working in my head, but I'm not working on income producing activities. Nothing. No, I don't want to talk to people.
And I'm going to stop you right here, because this right here, I mean, I think, and we actually did a call about this, with one of the groups that we were working with. And, I mean, the good thing about social media, the bad thing about social media, right? That they think they're working because they're on social media, but they're really not doing the things that produce income, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the get ready to get ready syndrome, right? And so
right.
All the stuff that you were doing to get ready to start your business and get everything going. I mean, this is it's such a snare. It's such a trap, that mindset that you get into. So,
yeah. And this was before Facebook, this is 17 years ago, right? So it was before Facebook, it was before texting. So like my only option was to pick up a phone, but I didn't want to talk to someone. I had this fear they were going to yell at me. So again, my 5th year, same thing, kind of just humming along, go to the meeting sometimes, not go. I think I did hold my first party. I was a pharmaceutical sales rep. I talked to someone at that doctor's office, and I was like, she's always nice to me. And I said, any chance you'd want to like host a party? And she said yes. And I actually went to that party, and she ended up joining my team, and I sold like $300. And I was like, I'm pretty good at this. And I think that turned into one more party, and maybe one more party after that. So I think in my 5th year, I had like 3 parties, and I actually built a team of 3, which made me the top 5% of my company. I got to wear a special jacket, the whole thing. So I thought it was, big something. But then I stopped working. So then I quickly lost my fancy jacket and my title. So that's what I did in my 5th year. And then my 6th year, I was 29 years old. I was fed up enough with my corporate job. Okay, I think that.
So you were doing this you were doing this part-time around a full-time job, you were a pharmaceutical rep?
First 2 years I was a pharmaceutical sales rep. Then I moved to California, and I sold uniforms for Cintas uniforms. So I was a high-end uniform salesperson. And then I moved into commercial real estate. And I went into real estate because when I was in sales selling Cintas uniforms, I can remember it was the first year I made $100,000 in 1 year. I was 25 years old. And my boss said, great, Michelle, you hit your quota. You won the trip, to go to President's Club. I was good at selling the uniforms. Next year, your quota will be double. And I said, oh, good. So I'll be paid double. He goes, no, you have to hit that to get the same pay. And it was at that moment that I was like, this is such a scam. Like working for someone else, they always control the comp plan. They control everything. But if I go work for this network marketing company, the harder I work, the more money I make. There's a direct correlation between the harder you work, the more money you make. And in corporate America, it doesn't exist. Yeah. And so I just started thinking, I got to get out of this industry. And so instead of going into network marketing, I was like, I'll take a side road. I'm going to get my real estate license. I'm going to sell commercial real estate with a bunch of really fancy guys. And so I jumped into that market, and I believe it was a blessing, is that I jumped in 2007 when the real estate market crashed. And I went from making good money to making humble nothing money. And my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband, was like, well, you're going to have to figure something out. I'm like, yeah, sure am. I'm driving to this office, making 70 cold calls a day, which I believe that was a blessing. I needed that job that forced me to get on the phone. I needed a boss that was like, did you make your calls today? forced me to get on the phone, and I needed that job to then give me the confidence to be able to finally do network marketing.
So this is really good because, sometimes, because I mean, whenever you look at the path that you traveled and every step leading you to the next, and doing things and having, doing something uncomfortable, and then that became comfortable, and then doing something else and that was uncomfortable, and taking those steps and not really realizing the growth that you were experiencing along the way. And I love this part right here to think about where you were, having a boss, right? A real boss, making sure holding you accountable to a cold call phone conversation, which is probably the scariest thing that anybody that was listening that would have to do, make a cold sales phone call, right? But that skill, right? That skill, I mean, that was just part of the growth pattern. I love that. I love that because I mean, you had to go to the gym and lift the weights,
right?
For that to become that you had the confidence. Hey, I can do this,
right? And it was like the perfect storm where the real estate market was crashing. I was learning this skill, and I sat in my office one day with surrounded by these negative guys. It was just a negative atmosphere, and I thought, I can make phone calls now. I've got this other opportunity where I can work from home. I don't have to drive to the stupid office, waste all this gas. I was buying a whole tank of gas every week. And I was like, I just need to go and do what I'm doing here. I need to go do that for that company. And I need to do it for 6 months. And so it was 2009. It was January 2009. I went online one night and I found a lady that sold for that company right in my town. And I looked her up and I said, hey, I'm looking to kind of get up and running. And the lady I happened to pick, again, another blessing, she's earned over $3 million in her career. She's driven 14 luxury cars from the company. And yet when I met her, she's 4'11". She has short, spiky hair. I'm 5'7". So literally, she's here, I'm here. She's 4'11", short, spiky hair, barely wears makeup, not loud, not proud. And she suffers from social anxiety. So she actually fainted at her first home party. There was a nurse there that had to put a cold compress on her forehead. And I see myself in this lady and I'm like, oh, yeah. And then I'm like, but she made $3 million. Okay, this lady is my lady, right? Teach me your ways.
Yes.
And so she taught me what to say at a party. She taught me how to use text message was a new thing that had just come out. Facebook was kind of a new thing. So she gave me some introverted ways of doing things. And I was like, ooh, I'm going to take these and run with them. And so I started to text like crazy. I didn't pick up the phone because I couldn't. I just couldn't do it. So I started texting people and I started getting people to come over to my house and try the products. And that first month, I accidentally made $1,000, not knowing what I was doing, letting people try the products. And I had this bing in my head where I'm like, if I could just double or triple that, this could be a viable source of income. That was in my spare time. What if I give some energy to this? So I left my real estate. I said, I'm out. And I said to my boyfriend, who's now my husband, honey, give me 6 months. He's like, gave you 2 years at the real estate thing. That didn't work out. I'm like, you sure? And you give me a second. And so I was so fed up with my job and my life that I'm like, forget it. I'm going to do this. There is no reason why anybody cannot succeed in this industry once you make a decision and you're all in. And that was the decision that I made. No more, oh, I'm too shy, I'm too this. You are all in and you're giving it 6 months and you make this happen. And so every morning I woke up and I was like, I don't have anyone I can message. So I got to go to a networking event. So I would go to a local networking event and meet other young entrepreneurs and just become their friend and get their business card. I would go on different websites and find when a Chamber of Commerce events. I started just going out into the community. That's all I knew to do.
And you said something there that I really want, sometimes, it really doesn't matter, what the situation is, and whether it's, a network marketing business or whatever it is, that you said a very key word, and that is making the decision.
Mm-hmm.
And I always find that making the decision is the hardest part because, most people, because whenever you think about decision, a decision is where you cut away all other options. There's no other alternative. There's no other options. This is it.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever you have that kind of resolve, I think that that's what keeps a lot of people stuck, you know, in their rut or in their circle of comfort, is because they can't make, they won't make the decision that this is what I'm going to do. I'm putting my blinders on. This is what I'm doing. I'm putting my head down. I'm going to, you know, because you had a role model, you had somebody that was like you that you could follow in their success, because success leaves clues. So you had a pattern, right? All you had to do was do what she did. And the results, if you focused on the activity, the results were inevitable, right?
Exactly. Yep. And that's all I did. So I did what I did in that first month. I'm like, okay, we're going to repeat this. And so sure enough, I repeated it for the next 6 months. 6 months later, I built a team of 50. I had a commission check of over $5,000 that month. I earned a free car, and I got free car insurance from that company. And at that point, I'm like, all right, we're pretty good. Like, I can live on $5,000 a month. I got a free car. I don't have a car insurance payment. This is fantastic. And so at that point, I just decided I will do this forever, right? So fast forward to 2 months later, I earned another car just doing the same thing, and then kept doing it. And all the while, I said, you know what? While I'm doing this, I'm going to start making little videos on how to be successful in network marketing and throw them on YouTube. So I'd come home from a party at night, go to my YouTube channel, and I'd, hey guys, just want to share a little tip how I, as an introvert, am able to whatever. Okay. So I started posting once a week a video. And about a year after, people started finding me online, and they'd say, Michelle, I really like your style. Can I join your team? You know, I'm a part of a different company. I like your style. I'm an introvert. And so people were relating to me. And so people started joining my team. One of the people that joined my team in the first month of being on my team, she brought over 20 new reps onto my downline. 6 months later, she had over 100 or 200 reps on her downline, down to mine. And in the course of the next few years, added over 700 people to my downline. And she found me on YouTube. And another girl in Tennessee, she added about 200 people to my downline. And so it was fantastic that my YouTube channel, just me, just sharing some information, was also bringing me new reps and building my massive downline. And so I went from just being me to then a few years later, I had a downline of over 1,000 reps. And it's insane to think that an introvert from humble beginnings had all this happen, but it was that first month making the commitment, and from forever, the next month, I kept doing it over and over and over. So I always, for 9 years in a row, always had, I was in front of 100 new clients a month. That was my number. Our company said, see 30 clients a month. I'm like, 100, right? So I told my girls, see 100 new clients a month. However, you can get them on a party, see them in person, or get them on a Facebook Live. And so we started just doing a lot of that. And
I want to stop you right here too, because this right here, Michelle, I think is probably the biggest stumbling block for all network marketers. I see this over and over again. And what happens is that, you know, because I know that there's 4 stages that a network, a distributor would go through. And what happens is they're in the productivity mode. Then, you know, that's the first stage. Mm-hmm. And then they start building a team, and somebody at your level with that level of success would go into the second stage of what I call the management mode, right? Mm-hmm. Where they start managing everybody. And so they get distracted and they get off track, and they stop doing the things that they were doing in order to grow their business initially. And I love what you're saying, because at the end of the day, no matter what, every distributor, everybody that has their own business, their job description comes down to 2 things. And that means getting new customers on their product and getting new people on their team. And if they're not doing that, then they're really not building their business. So I love the fact that it didn't matter what your team was doing, you put your blinders on to do what you knew you had to do to grow your business. That's leadership in action. I love this. This is so fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest saying that I always ran in my head was, I will not let one other person, I cannot let one other person dictate my success, right? So if this person's falling off my team, or this client doesn't want to buy, or my neighbor will never host a party, that I'm so sorry, you are one person and you will not dictate my success. And so I knew that as long as I kept moving, things were moving. I was always bringing on new people. If people were falling asleep on my team, well, Hello, I'm working. It's not working for you. It's working for me. Why don't you come shadow me for a day? So it was always an opportunity for them to come see what I was doing, come shadow, come on, get yourself going again. But the speed of the leader is the speed of the gang, right? And it's just what we always say, and you know that. So,
Right.
so yeah, and it's been so incredible, and it wasn't until this year. It was just a few weeks ago. My YouTube following had grown so much. About 10 months ago, I started doing online coaching, teaching people how to have success hosting Facebook Live parties. Our first Facebook Live party we hosted, I did over $20,000 in sales in 45 minutes.
Wait. Repeat that?
Crazy, yeah. I never knew how to do a Facebook Live party, but I said with my team, let's do a Facebook Live party. I'm going to host it. We'll send people samples in the mail, and I'll go live, and we'll do the demonstration virtually. The first one we did, we had 450 people attended. We sold over $20,000 in 45 minutes, and over 20 people joined my downline. And I was so stoked that I was like, I think this is a big deal, what we figured out here, because it was a lot of movement, and it took me a few months to put it all together. And my phone was blowing up and blowing up. People wanting to know what I did, how did I do it? And so I put together a course, and that course is called Mastering the Live. And I taught people how to do that. And that was my first course that I launched. And it changed so many people's lives that I was like, oh, this is crazy. And so then I launched another course, a 21-day branding challenge, where I showed people how to brand themselves online like I did to bring in new reps. And that took off. And that business got so massive this year. And I'm so thankful for that, because it was like, I was like this little baby. I had to have success in network marketing to then be blessed with this new business. And so I actually left the industry a few weeks ago, and I am full-time a coach now, and I show other people how to do exactly what I did. And I absolutely love it. It is so my passion. And it's to show people that are introverted, like, here's the little things I said, here's the little things I did. And it's been so much fun. And so it's like, your journey in network marketing, you don't know where it will take you. To build the business that it has built for me is mind-blowing. Like, I am thankful every day. But without network marketing for 16, 17 years of my life, I wouldn't be where I am today. And so I can't tell you how insanely awesome this industry is and where it can take your life. I always thought I would just be network marketer forever. But God's like, no, I got a new platform for you. You need to listen. And I listened to that calling, and it's been so much fun to just help a lot of people all around the world, which is insane.
Yeah, I love that, because the what you're doing, I mean, what you did, whenever you think about the journey and the process of where you came from, and the introvert and your first year, I mean, a lot of people would have wrote you off. I mean, for a lot of people, they would have quit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, after 5 years, I mean, after the first year, after the first couple of months, they would have said, this is not for me. I'm not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Which I find, especially with women, Michelle, and I know that you've probably, in your business, you've worked and had enough experience with women, that's usually the thing, that they don't have enough self-confidence and belief in themselves that they can do it.
Right.
And so I find it so commendable on your part that you didn't quit, that you didn't give up on you didn't give up on the process, and that you continued to stick with it. And I think, in this message, for those of you who are watching here, and even, as you're joining on the replay, the lesson in this is because an introvert, afraid to do these things, maybe that's you. I mean, for the lady that's watching, maybe that's you. Maybe you really relate to this right here. I mean, this is what success could be like if you don't quit. If you don't quit yourself, if you don't quit on the process, if you don't quit, working and keep taking steps forward. Would you agree with that?
100%. 100%. I mean, my life would look infinitely different had I not just kept doing one more appointment and not just kept putting one more video out there. Those two little actions literally is what changed my life. And it's just so imperative that you just keep going, even when it's hard. I mean, it wasn't like I had it easy. It wasn't like everyone hosted a party with me. It's like I'd book 15 parties for the week and 5 would hold, the other 10, you're like, dude, where are you? Can you stop ignoring me? And then people would come in for parties and they were like, I don't even know where they came from, but they did not have money ever. And, and they wouldn't buy anything from me. And so I had plenty of that. I had people that joined my team and never hear from them again, but people don't share that. And I'm like, no, I have plenty of that, like all day long. People are like, oh, I'm not an anomaly. I'm like, no, you're not an anomaly. Like, it's just part of it, where it's kind of like we're weeding through to find the great, like, diamonds, right, in all of everything. So yeah, it wasn't like it was simple, but I was just consistent. I just knew if I kept moving forward, it would keep growing. And never imagined that my life this year is, whoa, this was not my plan, but God planted on my heart in February that, whoa, hold on, you're not listening. I got something for you. And I started to be obedient. And that is when my life just exploded this year. And it's been so amazing. So,
well, and and so I want to talk to this piece right here, because you've mentioned doing like house parties, and how that's been was because there would be argument out there, that because that's how I built my business starting 27 years ago, right? And there would be a lot of people in the space that say, oh, that's old school.
mm-hmm.
That doesn't work anymore.
Right.
What would you say to that person?
I would say that I built a 1,000-person team holding home parties, up until like this year, right? So it absolutely does work. It's just one way of doing it. So
Right.
While I do teach people how to host Facebook Live parties, I don't say let that be your only thing. I say do that and do the home parties. If you're in a home party company, I know some of these companies don't do home parties, but the relationships that I built from home parties, I actually ended up building a studio. I had a 1,000-square-foot beautiful studio with chandeliers and pink couches and chairs. And so we'd actually have people to our studio, which was really fun. But those relationships, I would meet them once, possibly twice when they came back again, but those became my most loyal customers over and over and over again ordering. But I also noticed this year when we started doing Facebook Lives, it was similar, that we would get people reordering, and it was simple because they would just go on our websites and reorder. It all became it's just like a virtual conversation. They would just order on my website. So I think you can do either way and have success. But I preferred to do it was a little diversification, right? Some home party, some Facebook party.
Yeah, well, and you really said something else too that I want to tap into that I think is really powerful, especially with women. No matter what, no matter how social we are on social media, I still think that there is this part of women that they want to connect, and they want to connect personally. And so I'm still a huge believer that part of our business is still as relevant as it's always been, without question. And so I wanted the ladies to really evaluate that and not completely discount it, because I still think it's a viable way for us to make relationships, build relationships, further relationships, and certainly deepen relationships without question. And so, so moving, I mean, like, so you're deemed the YouTube video queen, right? And this part, I love this, because this is the introvert who couldn't pick up the phone, but now she's coming and she's doing videos, sharing her fears online to those women who are connecting with her, because she's making herself vulnerable in a space that women can connect with. What made you decide to do that? Because I don't know if you guys are catching this, but what I'm sharing with you is a huge piece that a lot of women would be fearful of sharing that vulnerability. So what made you decide to do that?
Yeah, so I started following an organizational guru. Her name is Alejandra Costella. And if you look her up, she's got millions of viewers, and she has the most organized home in America. And I watched her, and as a marketing major in college, I watched her, and then I noticed her brand, and then I clicked on her thing, and I got her free guide, and then I ended up buying her course a week later. I'm buying an organizational course, the first course I ever bought.
And what was her name?
Alejandra, Alejandra.
Somebody type that in the comments.
Alejandra Costella, but she's alejandra.tv. If you
Okay.
look up most organized home in America, it should pop up on YouTube.
Okay. Okay.
But she was fascinating because she would go live and she would go live with her pretty makeup on, and then she'd go live with no makeup on. And she would just show you, I got to show you guys how I organized my gum in my cabinet. And I got to show you how I organize. Like, she just loved organizing. And just like, it was her thing. And I loved how authentic she was. Like, she would wake up in the middle of the night or like right in the morning and be like, I have an idea about organizing. I had to share it with you guys. Like, she loved it. And I loved that. And I thought, I want to be like, I want to do something like that. That's pretty cool. And so it was just kind of like, I was bored. I didn't have kids. I'm like, maybe, I'll start making some videos. And so initially I was going to make some organizing videos. And then I filmed like 8 of them, and I realized I don't really like to talk about organizing. Like, I really don't. And then I said, maybe I could talk about network marketing, because I really I love to talk about network marketing. I love to talk about making money. And so I started making those videos, and you could tell it was what I loved. And that channel just started to grow and grow and grow. And people started to watch the videos. And indirectly, a few years later, people started to join my team, order products from me. It started to happen. And I built a following from that carried over into Facebook. It carried over a little bit into Instagram. And I honestly believe this to be true, Taylor, that I shudder to think what my life would look like today had it not been for the power of video. I learned how to edit videos. I learned how to use good audio. I learned how to add B-roll. I learned all the things you need to make an awesome video. And that literally changed my life, because I think about it. I had a team of 1,000, 700 of them came from someone who found me, right? He's from YouTube, right? So a lot of people found me from online. So the success I had, I'm like, well, it probably wouldn't have happened if I didn't have the YouTube channel, right? We think about that. Then this new business I've started that it's on track to be a seven figure business in its first year, which is insane to me. But that would not have happened had I not learned how to make great video. Yeah. And so video is to me, it's a huge part of success. And you see other people using it in such a powerful way, just as you're doing it here, because you really get to know someone.
Yeah.
I either like that person or I don't. So you click or you move away. Yeah. But the people that stick are your people.
I love that. Well, so as we're kind of coming here to the end, I know that here in the She Network, it's like sharing her excellence. And so if you were to give any words of wisdom to the ladies that are watching here in this moment, what would be some words of encouragement or wisdom that you would share, like that they could walk away with right this minute?
Yeah, the biggest one that carried me all these years is successful women feel the fear and do it anyway.
Ah,
yeah,
that's a great quote. And successful women feel the
fear and do it anyway. I just always thought that someone who was successful just appeared like you, Taylor. It's just like, oh, well, she was made for that. She came from money. She's just lucky. That's what I thought. That's what I grew up hearing. Oh, well, they had money, honey. You're never going to have that. No. Successful women, they are fearful, and they go out and they just take one step. They feel the fear and they do it anyway. So every day I feel the fear and I do it anyway. I turn on the camera. I go live when I'm exhausted. I do another program, whatever I'm doing, host another party, right? When I was doing that, I kept doing it because I knew that that action would change my life.
Yeah, I was, the quote that I've always was kind of parallel to that is that, successful people are always willing to do the things that unsuccessful people won't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So true.
Yeah. And so that's really powerful, because coming from, like you've really overcome a lot of fears in this process, and such a great inspiration. So here's sharing her excellence. And I know that we're going to be launching our membership site here this month. So I'm super excited. So I know that you have a definite excellence that you would like to share with the ladies. So would you mind sharing those things that you're going to be giving to the community?
Yeah.
And how it can impact them in their business?
Absolutely. So I've got 2 things that I said to Taylor, these will be perfect. So number 1 is I have a guide how to manage it all and still stay sane. I have 2 children. My son is 7. My daughter is 4. And as much as, oh, I look like I have it all together, no, some days I don't. It's crazy. My kids are running. Everything's crazy. The only reason I'm live right now, my husband's traveling, is I have a nanny or a babysitter here, right? So I hire help. But I talk about the importance of hiring help and all of my little life hacks in my guide. I think it's like a 20 or 30 page guide, how to manage it all and still stay sane. Everything I do, from like yearly planning, monthly planning, weekly to daily. So what is a typical day? And I wrote it while I was still in the network marketing industry. So it's a lot of that, what I was doing. The other guide that I have for you is, after taking Alejandra Casella's organizing course, I became obsessed with getting organized, and it made my office really pretty. And I could spin the camera and show you, or you can just click on the link and you'll see the video where you see my pretty pink office. I remodeled the whole thing, and I made it a space that allowed my creative juices to flow and allowed me to really hustle and work. I stopped saying I'm not organized, I don't have any energy, because that can drain you. When you are not organized, you're like, I can't even think. And so I knew what's causing me to not get to work, because I'm unorganized. I can't find anything. It's taking so much of my energy that I'm drained. I can't even work. So if that is you, it's just taking a weekend or taking like a week off, unloading everything out of your office and only putting back in the things that bring you joy or are in the office to help the office like function. You need it for the functionality of the office. And so I have a whole video. It's a 15-minute video, shows my office as well as links to all the different things in my office, including my backdrops and my lighting and my everything that I use in my office. And so I'm also giving you guys that guide for free too. So some fun stuff.
Awesome. Well, I know that that kind of all of those things. I know, ladies, are you guys excited about that? Yes. There's like, I love you. Thank you. This is great book. Yay. We're excited.
Good.
So, okay, so all of this content will be launched. This will be launched and it'll be in the back end of the membership site for you as we get launched this month. So we're super excited about that. And so so last 2 things is, do you have like your favorite book? Do you have a favorite book or resource that you love?
I have so many of them. I have a whole box of books right down there. Girl Stop Apologizing, Rachel Hollis. I listened to the whole thing this weekend on Audible. I had it on speed 2x, and I was in a car ride and I listened to the whole thing, and so good. Rachel Hollis, I'm a huge fan. So
that was Girl Stop Apologizing, or is it Girl Wash Your Face?
Both, but Girl Stop Apologizing was what I devoured this weekend. And I will tell you, there's one book that changed my entire network marketing career. It took me from 100 reps on my team to like explosively growing when we changed one thing.
Yes.
A great book. It's changed your life. Rock Your Network Marketing Business by Sarah Robbins. I read that book, and there's 2 little things in there. Lead with the opportunity, default to the products. That changed my business and my life. We started recruiting reps on the spot at our home parties. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, we recruit 5 people at a party. It was the craziest thing.
Can I tell you that that's exactly how I built my business?
Really?
Yeah,
we missed it for the first 4 years. We were like missing that. And then I read that book and like it was crazy. And then when I taught all my people that, whoa, it was crazy. It
was always like, the concept for me was like, if you shoot for the moon, you're going to land on the stars, because no matter what, if you lead with if you let people know that there's an opportunity, great, right? I mean, tell my story. It was great, easy to share my story. And oh, by the way, this is how I got these, that's how I made the money, is because I got great results on these products. And they're like, oh, so no matter what, they realize, okay, if I'm going to have that kind of result, and if I'm going to have success in a business, oh, I have to take these products. So it was kind of it was kind of a win-win. So, and I know that the pendulum kind of swung away from that a little bit, but I love that concept, and it works tremendously.
Yeah.
So the last thing is that, and I know that you said the quote, but would you leave that with your special quote too, or do you have another quote or scripture that you really stand on whenever you are having a dark day or a downward spiral moment?
Gosh, I have so many little sayings that I say in my head all day. I would say that feel the fear. My brain is like, gosh, what am I gonna? I've got all my scriptures on my wall over there. But I would just, successful women feel the fear and do it anyway. I always tell everyone to run your own race. And I always tell everybody to own your awesome. It's just like you step into your greatness. But at the end of the day, like in everything that I do, I always lean on God. I honestly do. And, I'm careful depending on the crowd. But when you said scripture, I'm like, okay, maybe I can say God here. But
I'm just going to tell you, right, Michelle, there is no politically correct here. This is you. This is the real authentic you.
yeah.
And so I want you to be authentic to you and what you believe and how you feel. That's what.
Yeah, awesome.
So,
yeah. So no, I honestly believe, that God has a plan for your life, and you just need to be obedient and you need to listen to that. And so this year, as I was struggling with this decision, do I stay in network marketing, keep leading my team, or do I go and do a bigger platform? Like, what do I do? I had a friend say to me, hey, Michelle, I know that you've been struggling with this decision for 10 months. And it sounds like you're waiting for God to just give you peace so you can make the decision. And she said, our God calls us to be obedient before he will give us peace. And so I just want to remind all of you of that if you have a calling on your heart, go and honor that. Go and work your business like a maniac. Go and do whatever it takes to get the results that are like, you feel it. You feel you should be doing it. Just go do it and know that God will provide. And there's no other explanation than that in my story and in so many other successful people's stories. So, yes.
I love that. Thank you so much, because I know that we all connect with that in a deep way, for sure.
Awesome.
And so I just want to this has just been so awesome. I know the ladies got great value today. I'm so happy to hear your story, and especially, I hope that you allow us to keep up with you and, tune in again and
always
like what happens after this year and what's in store. So that's amazing.
Thank you so much. Yep. So many videos. I'm live all the time doing millions of things. So I love it. I live for it.
Okay, you guys ladies, give her big hearts and love, and thank you so much, and thank you, ladies, and we will see you guys tomorrow. All right. This is Taylor Thompson Network, Michelle Cunningham. Bye-bye.
Bye.